Salutations, neurons. Sorry to delay your regularly scheduled typology talk with a quick PSA, but the artist formerly known as Digine hath died. Praise be the Fire Witch. We will refer to Beatrice as such, or by other monikers which will be evident. It's sad that people have to be reminded of this, but content creators don't owe you shit. If their lives lead them away from what you're looking for, leave. If you're the type of pathetic wannabe fascist who gets ass mad when someone does not kowtow to your garbage sensibilities, kindly eat a dick and choke on it. Neurotyping is a personality matrix devised by musician, writer, and media analyst Beatrice, the Golden Witch. Everything in the video description and all that jazz, including our Discord, which you should totally join and which we have completely neglected to advertise thus far, but no longer, rest assured. On with the show. Tolgi, what's the deal with neurotyping?
Neurotyping is really cool. I'm a human calculator. And I love to be one. Anyways, today we are joined with two guests even. One is Axie, one is Rika. And in total that makes 5 because Urcoy is not here, our cutter. So I would just go to Tabak and then introduce the guests.
Hi there, I'm Tarbak Transom, fast-talking craftsman and indestructible super god, your level 3 overseer, the firebrand with inner peace and clout chaser eternal. And on that note, if you really extra super care about the archival of the former Digi content, I am running one of those archive efforts. Possible links somewhere. Bye.
Hell yeah. I'm Ouroborista, the aesthetician with an ace up my sleeve, the shadowy figure foreshadowing fancy forearm fashion in the future of this very episode. The eldritch self-devouring sky snake, worship me. And as Tolgi said, we have two wonderful guests on the show today. A historic first for the Typeline and also our first time having a recurring guest. They said it wouldn't come to this, they said we couldn't be trusted with such power, and yet here we are. Be very afraid. Rika, start us off.
Hi, I'm Rika, the semi-intelligent semi-aesthetician. I make a post about sleeves and another one about animal dicks. So
Great.
Yeah.
My favorite two things.
Two great tastes that taste great together.
Axie?
Yeah, I'm Axie. I've been here before, and I'm a quick-witted without a very elaborate and flamboyant introduction. What?
Yeah, I mean, being the first return guest should compensate for that.
Indeed.
This
power is great.
It's already quite an esteemed position to be in. No need to suck your own dick on the podcast.
We'll do that for you. Double.
All right.
I demand fan art of me and Oro and Tolgi, like triple licking a dick right here.
Oh my god. First post, we're starting with the Enneagram one.
Well.
Post by Axie. Enneagram assigned to neurotype by Wiz on the Discord. This isn't factual in case it needed to be clarified. So I guess it isn't by Axie, then it's by Wiz.
Yeah.
Alright.
So I guess I've been brought here to first explain what Enneagram is.
Yes,
To
please.
start my explanation, it is an irregular hexagram added to a triangle and not an Enneagram. Other than that, it's a personality typing system that involves your core desires and fears. A lot of people seem to like it. There are 9 types that are...
I fear it.
There are 9 types arranged around this irregular hexagram added to a triangle, and they each have their own quirks. They're not arranged on any sort of axes. And so I guess to describe the types, I'll begin with type 1, which is... there are 3 centers, or I guess groups, of 3 types each in Enneagram. One about anger, one about shame, and one about fear. And so type number 1 is from the anger center. And so their core fear is about, they're kind of angry at people not being perfect. So their core fear is to not be good, and they likewise desire to be good, and sometimes are perfectionistic. Type number 2 is actually from the shame center, and so they, as type 2s, believe that their existence gets value when they help people, and that correlates to shame because they think that they have to help people in order to be valuable. For type 3s, they fear shame similarly because they believe their identity is given value when they achieve things. Type 4 is the last of the shame center, and they believe their identity is given value when they're unique, which is kind of dissimilar to 2 and 3. To begin the fear group, we have type number 5, which is, fear incarnate. They like to know things from a very distant perspective, and so they tend to be cerebral types who fear being incompetent, which is different to fearing being good like 1, but it sounds kind of similar. Next is type 6, which is even more fear incarnate, actually. And they fear like not having a base to stand on. How do I phrase that? Like, they're the types of people who would fear not being connected to authority or some kind of pillar for safety. Type 7 is the last of the fear center, and they fear pain in a very broad sense. So they tend to run away from their problems, and 7s tend to be very happy-go-lucky and do lots and lots of drugs. Type 8 is, they fear... How do I phrase this? They fear being, like, controlled by others, which doesn't really make sense. I feel like a lot of people would think that. But to further explain...
I mean, it feels like most people also don't want to be incompetent.
Yeah. They're, like, very broad senses, but...
Yeah.
It's like their main fear. Like, yeah, you have multiple fears, but one of them is going to be higher.
Yeah, right.
So type 8 is kind of like, they want to be autonomous, in a sense. They try to get their needs without other people's help. And so they might be seen as quote-unquote challengers, as they are called by, like, the Enneagram Institute. Finally, there's type 9, who is also in the anger center, like 8 and 1. And they are super duper chill. They're called peacemakers, and their fear is like starting conflict or something akin to that. And so, yeah, they tend to like their comfort, and they don't like people getting mad, as Enneagram tests would tell you. So that's a basic summary of what Enneagram is.
All right. Okay, quick rundown. This chart has 5 wing 6 in Human Calculator, 3 wing 4 in Technician to Contemplative, 1 wing 9 in Bookkeeper, 1 wing 2 in the lower left quadrant, 8 wing 7 in the Technician Quick-Witted Contemplative Understanding intersection, 7 wing 8 in Quick-Witted, 3 wing 2 in Understanding, 6 wing 5 in Level-Headed, 2 wing 3 in the intersection of Understanding, Externalist, Level-Headed, Clear-Sighted, 2 wing 1 in Clear-Sighted, 6 wing 7 in Externalist, 5 wing 4 in Fascinator, 4 wing 5 in Neurotype, 7 wing 6 between Neurotype and Aesthetician, 4 wing 3 in Aesthetician, 9 wing 1 in Aesthetician, but a bit below that, 9 wing 8 in Impressionist, and 8 wing 9 between Impressionist and Pure Instinct, whereas Analysts and Overseers don't have personalities.
Yes.
Wait, before we continue, I should explain what the wing is. It's basically a type that is next to the main type. So if you take 3 wing 4, you're a 3, but you also relate to the desire of 4, kind of. That's basically it. And the types have to be next to each other, so you can't be a 9 wing 4. You'd have to be a 9 wing 8 or a 9 wing 1, because it goes around in a circle.
also it loops around 1 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1, 9, and 9, 1 are possible.
Gotcha. I see. So they are fairy wings, and you are standing in a circle jerk. Got it.
Yes.
Yes.
As typology is. Quite frankly, I never noticed that Analyst and Overseer didn't have anything in them.
Oh yeah,
I guess they aren't
that
real.
happens.
Well, I am glad that I am in the top left corner, because that means that I'm really right up next to this 7-wing 8, which is how I typed myself like forever and a half ago when I took this test. Although hearing you explain it and then reading over the description makes me think that I'm just an 8.
Oh, that might be true.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Do you have to have a wing?
Um,
Because from the result that this test gave me, the ones adjacent to my main type are the ones I have the least of.
so wing is like a theory within
Oh no, wait, that's Starbucks. I'm looking at
Yeah.
Starbucks result.
within Enneagram. Wing is like
It's pretty close
a
for me.
theory. So, in many systems of Enneagram, you just don't have a wing. Like there are subtypes and tritypes, which are a little more complicated to explain. So, and they're not really relevant to the post, so I neglected to explain them. But in wing theory itself, you might have really weak wings. Like you could be an 8 with a really weak 7-wing and a really weak 9-wing. But as far as I know, there isn't really a way to indicate that when you type it out. So most people will be like, oh, which one is slightly higher than the other to figure out their wing.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, it does seem like you have your primary type, and then it's just a ranking of the other two. That was how I was originally processing it.
Yeah.
But then again, there's like 70 years of scholarship on this idea. Really, this is a look into the future of neurotyping. Is what
I
this
guess so, yeah.
system is. Like,
You'll have like
neurotyping
doctrines.
on a long enough time scale will become this.
Yeah. You'll get like branches like it's a religion. You have axisists and stereotypists.
Any sufficiently advanced personality matrix is indistinguishable from magic.
I wonder who the leaders of the neurotyping will be in 50 years. My God,
Okay,
maybe all dead.
We will have sold out, definitely.
That won't
Decentralized
fit in the title, but I do want it on the thumbnail.
What?
Any sufficiently advanced personality test.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Excellent.
So
Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, we already have 2 guests, which doesn't fit a typical thumbnail format. So I guess we can just break the system we've been going for. Who cares?
This is our yellow episode.
Oh, yeah. Should we intersperse, like, filmed mini-vlogs into it?
That sounds awesome.
It
I don't know what
does,
I
but
would-
it also sounds like effort.
Yeah, I don't know what I would put in. Like, I think the ideal one to do that for out of our current catalog would have been the previous episode, the fugue state episode.
Yeah, kind of. Dear listener, tell us in the comments if we did that. Yes, we're doing this. Okay, so any sufficiently advanced character typology is indistinguishable from magic. Obviously hilarious, obviously fucking gut-bursting. The fucking heartiest chuckle you ever did have. But also, think about it. Use your fucking noggin for a bit. Use your noggin to think about it. What is magic? It's friendship. We all watched the Pony Show. We all know this is kiddie shit. And it's friendship. Well, friendship is when your fucking personalities, they synchronize, they resonate, and they make that big fucking cum happen. You fire that friendship laser, that fucking rainbow laser, in real life, for free, no adult supervision necessary. So, a perfect personality matrix means perfect friends, means actual magic. I rest my case.
Fugue state.
All right.
well, more relevant.
Off topic.
Fan art
Okay.
achieved.
Back to Enneagram.
More relevant to the post.
thumbnail would say.
At this point in time, I disagree with like half of this, which is great. For some reason, they put 8-wing 7 in the lexical half, which that's like my first main complaint is 8s are very Lin Imp, which was properly reflected in 8-wing 9, but not in 8-wing 7 for some reason. And that's probably because of certain MBTI types being typed as that Enneagram type, since Wiz, the guy who actually made the chart, knew about MBTI as well as Enneagram. Some of this is fine, I guess. 3-wing 2 being linear doesn't make as much sense to me. Overall, it's actually fine, but I really enjoy overstating how much I hate things. I see 2 things that are wrong with it, and I go, okay, it's all bad.
Yeah, see, that's where you fit in well in this podcast arrangement.
Yeah.
Good.
So when I was reading, I was using like a website that I took a test on when I was 12. And like way the fuck back in 2002, and I was reading over their modern descriptions of things, and I was thinking, yeah, this seems like me as the description was going along, but like there's a certain amount of like my experience of it has been that you have to get more than 60% of the way into this system in order to not feel like it's all running together and you don't know what you're doing. Like as you look deeper at first it seems like the types are totally different, and then you get deeper into it and then it seems like the types are all the same, and then you get deeper into it and then they become different again and you actually understand, and I'm like in that middle part.
Oh, so that all the types are the same to you. Well, I guess in a way, like there are 3 groups of types, so they are pretty similar.
More like if there's multiple things that I think sound like me, I won't be able to sort out meaningfully which one I am without an expert like you.
Oh. Yeah, that happens to a lot of people, so I see what you're talking about.
Or like multiple hours of reading, which I don't want to do because I'm running I'm still running the archive in the archive effort for all of the soon to be Axe to Digi content is running in the background right now.
Yeah, I relate to that. It took me forever to figure out that I was not an 8-wing 7, but I was actually a 3-wing 4. I probably should have mentioned that I was a 3-wing 4. That's my type. So I used to think, I must be an 8-wing 7 because I'm a douche and no one likes me. Of course, it was a little deeper than that, but I had read like these really bad articles that told me that 8-wing 7s were like the exact same as what I was, and 3-wing 4 was like pretty close, but wasn't as rude and mean and was too like prissy. And after reading more about it, I realized, oh shit, wait, there's a type of 3 that is what I am, and all the types of 8 are actually not me.
Okay, so I look at just the basic fear description. 7, of being deprived and in pain. Well, pain is the worst thing. Pain is worse than death. That's why you have the phrase, a fate worse than death.
Yeah.
But, like, my whole shtick is that I make myself deeply uncomfortable, so as well, I'll just accept a lower standard of living if it means that I can have time to play video games. And that doesn't seem like it lines up to me, at least.
The thing, so a lot of the descriptions of what a type's fear is are like very, very broad. So what it's actually talking about when it says fears being in pain, it's like they'll run away from their problems in a way that problem is pain, but its negative repercussions in the moment that like slightly exist are not pain.
Oh no, the consequences of my act.
Like confrontation?
Yeah, I guess
like
it could be that, but avoiding confrontation would be more like 9s. What a 7 might do is like if they're really stressed about something, like a homework assignment, instead of doing it, they'll just go out and party and live the better side of life. Well, that's when they're like really unhealthy, by the way. And
I did literally that earlier this week, where
I'm doing that today.
where like a bunch of people wanted my input on the archive, and I'm like, I'm going to play Hades for the first time, and then I did that for 6 hours.
Yeah, I guess
So
that
there's
is kind
that.
of 7 thing. And also 5s will be like that.
But
one
maybe that was
unhealthy.
just a shitty thing of me to do.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, 5's what now?
5s will also do that when they're unhealthy because the shape of the hexagram combined with a triangle is actually relevant to something like health and unhealth in Enneagram. And they're like arrows if you look at the actual shape. And the arrows that point to another type are where they go when they're healthy, usually. And if you trace that arrow backwards, you get a type going to unhealth, as they call it.
Gotcha.
Good. Yeah.
This Reddit post isn't that nuanced, so it doesn't really matter. I might actually post a chart to Reddit later today that does include those arrows on the Enneagram chart, which could be cool to talk about in a future episode of the podcast. But as for this chart, not really that relevant.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you guys have any major input on this chart that Wiz made?
I guess I'm a pure instinct impressionist, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, 8-wing 9. And then Tolgi, you said are you 5-wing 6 or 1-wing 9?
I think when I did everything with Rio, I think we established that I was a 5v4.
Oh.
But because I didn't relate to 6 at all, and my test results for 6 was very negative, which is surprising since when I look at the chart, 5v6, it's like almost exactly where I am.
Oh.
So I guess it makes sense. I also like the idea of a 5-wing 6 who is like a problem solver. That's like the shtick.
On tests, I would always get 3-wing 2 because I didn't like seeing myself as very 4s are insufferable usually. So because that unique persona thing that is normally on tests, I always disagreed with all of that because it sounded so annoying, which is very 3 of me to do.
Yeah, I mean, Rika kind of wrote a post about that for this very episode.
So I
don't remember much about it now.
Yeah, so I'd always get 3-wing 2 despite being a 3-wing 4 because I hate 4s. Or quote unquote. I hate the description of 4 that's used to make test questions.
Ooh, okay.
So it might be kind of like that.
Yeah. Or it could just be you just trying to justify this.
Maybe. I didn't, when I made my Enneagram charts, they didn't have anything to do with wings, because as of now, I don't really think wings are that important, because there are subtypes and tritypes. I like subtypes, where there are 3 different kinds of every Enneagram type. And so I made a neurochart about that I might be posting as well.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, tri-type neurotyping would be also interesting, where you have all the tri-types listed.
Yeah.
That's more, so you can say, almost everybody in neurotype has a tri-type almost instantly. So we guess we just use that.
Yeah.
So
I feel
your
like
description of
other than
your description of 4s are insufferable because they think they're really special and very different from all the other people around them makes that the 2 people who commented upon this with, this is completely accurate, being new types, kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
Oh.
Because that's also, I'm very different from most of society.
Okay, so 4s are actually fine, but internet 4s suck because, when you go to Typology, like the Typology internet for Enneagram, people who identify as a 4 are just the worst people if they talk about Enneagram a lot because it's like INFJs on an MBTI test that think they're really special because they're an INFJ. 4s think they're special because they're a 4.
Gotcha.
But when that's not the case, like when an INFJ doesn't think they're special because they're an INFJ, which is most actual INFJs, they're totally fine.
Gotcha.
So I don't hate I don't hate actual people of a type based on typology. I just hate the description of a type because it sounds really annoying.
I have a hard time fitting myself into this system, possibly because I'm very healthy. And one of the key things that it operates on is like core fears and stuff like that. Well, if I have slain all of my fears in a duel in the desert, then like it's going to be hard for me to sort that shit out.
Yeah. The guy who made the typology, Claudio Naranjo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's like a Chilean, I think. The guy who made the typology originally wrote that a very, very well-balanced person who doesn't have any like disorders or anything wrong with them really will be almost impossible to type. Like almost completely impossible. It would take way too much work to figure it out. So like if you see a healthy 7, then they're not going to look like a 7 because they're going to have a lot of healthy traits from 5, and they're not going to be like drinking on the weekends to ease their pain.
Gotcha.
Like 7 might.
I mean,
so yeah.
When I was younger, I made a big deal out of avoiding any drugs because I had a total certainty that if I tried one and liked it, I would never come back. I would just poison myself into insanity so that I would be irretrievable from the furthest reaches of Dionysus. And because why the fuck would you want to come back to reality? Reality is the worst.
Oh yeah. That might reflect on like unhealth in 1.
Conceptually, I really like the idea of a personality system where you can't type yourself anymore once you've become a fully fledged, fully functioning person with no flaws whatsoever. Because that means when you leave that typology community for what reason ever, people could be like, oh, they ascended.
Oh yeah, it's like a Buddhism of typology.
Yeah.
When you die, you go to Nirvana.
Buddhism of typology. There's the episode title.
Yeah, Enneagram's like good like that. I love going to Nirvana when I stop talking about typology.
Yeah.
It sounds really great.
As I'm looking at the basic desires for 7, because I'm fixated on this. To be satisfied and content to have their needs fulfilled. Well, if I just need fewer things, then my needs are met.
True, I guess.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
There are other types that will also have the need to be, like, have their needs satisfied. Like, 8 will want their needs satisfied, but in the way that they also want a lot of power and control, because that's one of their needs, right? And then, like, 3's a certain type of 3 in subtype theories. Like, it's called the self-preservation 3. They want to be autonomous and to be able to meet their own needs as, like, a way of proving their worth. Which, so yeah, you can see a similar desire to be content manifests in a bunch of types in different ways.
Wait, hang on. Every time I had a normie job, like anyone in which I gained a paycheck from a business instead of from a person, I have attempted suicide. So maybe I can't, maybe I am an 8. Because if being controlled is like, don't want to be bossed, then that seems to agree with that.
Yeah, it seems like your leads are 7 and 8 primarily. So I guess if you have free time ever in the future, which doesn't sound like you could read about it, and you'd only have 2 things to read about. I would love to like sit down with you and chat about this whole system in like a couple of days if you're free. Maybe that would work.
Okay,
because it doesn't work well with this Reddit post though. Yeah, this Reddit post is like quite one-dimensional actually.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, to actually discuss it meaningfully, we'd probably have to know more about the system.
Yeah.
Well, the way that I wanted to attack this is to see what type your placement is closest to on this chart and see how that lines up with you. And I mean, 7 and 8 are the things I keep going back and forth between based on these descriptions, close. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but 8 wing 7 is a little further there. My type is 3 wing 4, and that's reasonably close.
Closest to 9 wing 1.
9 wing 1, is that your...
And, I mean, 1 seems awful.
One,
1 seems just horrifying.
yeah, one is pretty.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad when you read it. I used to think I was 1 wing 9.
Oh no, bookkeeper.
Yeah, bookkeeper pride.
And I forgot what 9 was again.
9 is
right.
like peacekeeper.
9 was like people pleaser.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that kind of, but I'm also a douche, so.
Actually, there's one thing
Yeah, that seems the problem. I see this intersection of 8 and 9. It's, won't put up with bullshit from people, but if people seem okay, yeah, I'll humor them.
Yeah, I guess that would be like 8 wing 9. 8 wing 9s are like pretty cool. They're chill, but they tend to be more like, I think it was described that they have like a dual personality sometimes in like medium health, where at work they'll be like an absolute shit and would boss people around all the time, but when they're at home they're like really chill and compliant. Haven't read much
I guess
about
that's
April
not
May
really
specific.
true because, law for anyone listening, this podcast started and I didn't want to lead this. I tried to organize it so that other people would do it for me. And no one would. I had to. I had to take the reins. I was forced into a position of despotic power, which I wield with patent disregard for the well-being of others, obviously. But
I mean,
horrifying.
I planned on doing it at some point in the undefined future. But then the Neurotypeline would have necessarily wound up like the Arch Plays, which hasn't had a new episode in like 3 months.
Oh,
I remember helping organize
But I have to say-
neurotyping as well, but not neurotyping, Neurotypeline as well. But I would have like tried to help lead it, but I forgot about it. So, like classic me, I just forget about things a lot.
We're
So-
just so functional, you guys.
Yeah.
oh yeah. And I have no idea of media whatsoever, and I would just not do it. Procrastinate. Yeah. Oro does a very good job, and very glad to have him as the leader here.
Yeah, it's great.
I think he's the most competent of us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Vote Oro 2021.
Yeah. So Rika, what do you think about the type on this chart that is the closest to you? Because we're ostensibly talking about the Reddit post.
I don't really know Enneagram, but almost definitely 4.
Yeah, I think I remember Rika
Yeah.
taking a test and getting 4.
I put my results just now in the text.
Yeah, 4
Yeah.
and 5.
You seem cool.
4, 5
So
makes
that-
sense to me.
That's pretty close to aesthetician. Although I guess you're a semi-aesthetician with the overseer, right?
Yeah. Esthetician overseer, yeah. I care about feeling different.
Classic 4.
Yeah.
Classic 4.
Yeah, and from me, if I could add anything, I have actually a question if that even makes sense. If you look at the wings with a 5 in it, we have like one in human calculator, very lexical side, one in fascinator toplet, and new type corner. And there's the other 5 is like located in level-headed,
Yeah, that
which
doesn't make much
spans like
sense.
almost everything. Does that even make sense in remotely? Having
think
the
it's
5 level-headed?
because- I think it's because it's a 6, like being a 6. They're the middle type of each center. So that would be 3, 6, and 9 is like the antithesis of what the center is about. So the shame center is kind of about feeling, and 3s suppress any and all feelings. And like the head center or the fear one is about thinking, and 6s, well, this might sound kind of reductive, reject thinking. So that's why you might see them typed as linear. Like in my Enneagram chart thing that I did, I also had typed 6 as pretty linear. And so I guess that even though with a wing 5, because the 6 is there and a lot stronger, it's typed as level-headed. And the same for 5 wing 6, because the 5 is there and a lot stronger, it's still super lateral.
Oh, but its 6 is so strong, it pulls the 5 down from the toplets.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
also the
God,
same with how
I'm
3
scared.
and 4 is on the opposite side of the chart from 4 wing 5, and
Oh, yeah, I can see that now.
yeah, and then 2 wing 3 is quite impressionist.
I guess we forgot to ask a pretty important question, and that is, actually, do you think that this lines up with neurotyping at all, or rather do you think this lines up with it more than MBTI did last time?
Well, I think that the MBTI post from last time was probably more correlated to neurotyping than this one is. I think that Enneagram is a lot more interesting in its relations to neurotyping, and Timecake also thinks so, apparently. So this was more recent, but we made more updated Enneagram correlation charts. And I think that those are a little bit more correlated to neurotyping in a like prototypical way. So maybe in the future I'll say that in general Enneagram makes more sense.
They look really cool, but we don't want to reach into the future. There's still a chronology.
Yeah. So I think that this chart that is on the Reddit isn't as correlated as the MBTI posts from last time I was here were, but the next time I come here probably, I will say that the Enneagram ones are more correlated than the original MBTI ones because they've been more updated and reflect my opinion instead of someone else's.
Okay. Let's see. I feel like there's a lot of stuff, like Enneagram covers way more stuff than neurotyping does. Neurotyping seems like it's trying to be very like narrow in what it's capturing. Like a huge amount of Enneagram is about priorities and how you relate to different concepts, where compared to that, neurotyping seems pretty stripped down.
Most of the correlations that I had made, I'm not sure how Wiz made his chart, even though I asked him to make it. A lot of the correlations that I would make are basically just typing the desire and like the main traits of each type. So in this chart, which I agree with, 5 as a type is lateral and lexical, although there's 5 and 4 over there that's lateral and slightly impressionist. 5 is pretty lateral and lexical because the desire to like accumulate knowledge and be competent to avoid fear is pretty human calculatory, in my opinion. So if you type the desire and some core traits, it makes it easier to wrap your head around. But putting a neurotype onto a Enneagram type, you'd probably get like 9 or 10 types for every single Enneagram. Well, for possibilities, right? Because you could technically get a bookkeeper that is a 9, even though that doesn't make too much sense. It works, I guess.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
maybe like service jobs.
Yeah.
No, we are post joined by Uranium Coffee or just Urcoy. And we can just introduce you. Like
Latecomer, for shame.
Yeah, what happened was I haven't slept for a little while. I went over to my bed to lay down for a bit, and then that became like 4 hours.
Did you enter a fugue state?
Yeah, I entered a fugue state. Oh well. Anyways, I'm Urcoy, new type. We're talking about Enneagram, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what's
we're
your type?
closing out this Enneagram post.
Okay, so I did think I was a 5, but like the leading up to this, I was like looking into it a bunch, and I think 9 makes a lot more sense.
9, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
So 9 is like the very impressionistic, but it's normally a little more linear, or on the centrist on the linear. So
Gotcha.
5 on this chart by Wiz lines up more to your type, kind of, because you're like new type fascinator.
Sort of. And I think I do have that sort of lines up with my like childhood and teen years, like leaning into lexicality a lot.
Interesting.
And the even like thinking that I was a 5 for a long time. I probably have a decent amount of it as well.
Oh, so in like tri-type, you'd be 9, 5, and something else.
Yeah, I think 952 was the one. But yeah, I'm not a huge expert on this stuff, but
Okay.
that's what I think.
Well, so I guess this chart is like sometimes almost correct. In some measures.
Sometimes. I mean, I wouldn't expect much more from it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Most
if
of
you
us
can
got
get much
like
better.
a type off, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I am, 5 in the morning outside. It's really cold. Here to quickly talk about whether I am a 5 or a 9. So I looked into it. Everything I found says that I'm kind of both, and I don't know which one is stronger. It's kind of annoying. My search actually led me to Big 5 stuff. So people, 9s typically rank above average in agreeableness and below average in intellect, whereas 5s is the opposite. But the thing is, I rank high in both, just like I rank high in both of those numbers. So, in conclusion, I don't know.
I mean, you know what they say. Even a broken clock is indistinguishable from magic.
You know what I find magical about this chart? That was excellent. You know what I find magical about this chart?
Yeah.
Turn your gaze over to the Impressionists and find the oh whoa face in 9 Wing 8. That is the first thing that I saw. I opened the chart and I lock eyes with the oh whoa and then stared at it for a while before remembering what I was doing and continuing to take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also feels like endless overseer having no types. It's also like sting in my eye. It's like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, I guess they don't exist.
I didn't notice either
they're
of those
sorry.
things at all.
Oh, there's some pretty big gaps in there, so that's worrying me a bit.
Yeah.
For example, there's like 3 whole columns, within the fairly impressionistic, very impressionistic. There's like 3 stripes of the 20 squares, sub-squares. All the way to the top, to the bottom. It's like nothing there. So it's just like face. There's nothing there. Nobody's land.
No one exists there.
I don't exist.
Yeah, same for the complete linears. They just don't get to have a personality.
Too real.
You have to be at least this natural to have a personality.
Did anyone point out if Time Cake is a 5 that like lands right in the analyst, like between both of the wings?
Oh yeah, I think Time Cake is a 5. Because anything else wouldn't really make sense for him to self-type as.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you're a 5 with 2 really weak wings, then I guess you're an analyst. And if you're okay, it doesn't work for overseer. Oh, if you're a 7 with 2 weak wings, you're an overseer. That doesn't really make much sense either, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I did initially type myself as a 7, right? In my
true.
partial understanding of it. There's at least some kind of suggestion right there. Unless I'm just too healthy and I have transcended this as I have transcended other things.
Mostly
Maybe
what is
my
it to my
Two
transcension-
weak wings.
Maybe my transcension of the neurotyping chart is why I view each of these things as skills, like impressionism and lexicality and linearity and laterality as separate skill categories, because I'm just so far beyond the chart, you guys.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
pretty
that.
sure neurotyping is actually an RPG, and you just have to advance a skill tree.
Yes,
Yeah.
I unironically believe that.
What happens when you prestige? Wait, that's a different game.
Very often I'll say a joke as though it sounds like I'm kidding, but I'm actually entirely serious, and I can never really tell that other people do get the joke or don't get the joke. I hope that they do sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Do we want to synchronize Urcoy? By the way?
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
You want to count us down?
3, 2, 1.
This is how we do it
That's-
usually.
This is how
we
we
do.
do it. Okay. What post are we doing next? Are we doing Rika's post next? Because we spent like 45 minutes talking about that one.
We spent like 45
Yeah,
minutes.
yes.
chart.
Now that we're done with the Enneagram coast, I guess I should be taking my leave. So see you from this
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
Until next time we actually
Bye.
talk
Glad
about
I
the
could,
objectively
catch
See
you.
superior
ya. Talk to you in a
typologies.
couple days.
So, yeah.
There he goes.
There you
Well,
go.
at least I
And we
caught
were
him.
temporarily at 6 people in VC here. That's awesome.
Damn,
That's a record.
crazy.
That's a record, actually,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
That's critical mass.
World record.
Alright. So, Rika posts.
yeah, my
Right,
post. Sleeve typing.
Sleeves.
Sleeves.
All right. I
So-
feel like I say this a lot, but this is one of my favorite posts on the whole subreddit and in the entire history of neurotyping. Like
Thank you.
I have a folder of neurocharts that I send to people when I want to make them understand, and your sleeve chart is one of them.
I wanted to focus on something small that's not too associated with like individual character quirks. You know, it's the same reason we neurotype anime characters. Anime characters are simpler than real people. Sleeves are simpler than anime characters.
Yeah.
It's like a microcosm of the human expression.
Right. The very basic fabric of thought.
Yeah.
My biggest lament about the state that there must be for this chart as a necessary constraint due to the format
Oh,
is that there's not enough variation in men's sleeves to make an equivalent chart for masculine clothing.
yeah. That was a problem I had. I had moments where I thought, should I include like a men's outfit here? But it's just because like 90% of it was women already. I just kept it to women's sleeves.
Yeah. And
So can we just take it for men too, or is it just exclusive?
I mean, why would you want it for men? It's about the sleeves themselves, not the people wearing them, is the way I see it.
yeah.
Don't just train yourself to gender clothing.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. I'm endorsing all of this.
The shirt I am wearing now is like not too far off from the one in New Type, actually.
Oh,
It's just sort of a baggy,
I have one of those.
long sleeve shirt,
Small.
though.
yeah.
It doesn't go quite as far down.
Yeah, I almost exclusively wear the thing that's between bookkeeper and level-headed. I like exclusively wear that. So yeah, because for one, I can't handle long sleeves. I really can't handle it. I hate wearing those. So yeah, and I'm very basic.
Opposite for me, I don't like wearing short sleeve t-shirts. I don't have any.
Yeah,
For years, I would never wear short sleeves, and now I way prefer them. I don't know why. I used to have like a fear of wearing short sleeves. I didn't like my arms showing.
I mean, I have like button-ups where I can roll up the arms. That's fine. I just specifically don't like short sleeve t-shirts.
So if a half sleeve is exactly at the elbow and a quarter sleeve is a normal short sleeve shirt, then I'm wearing like a 3/16 sleeve right now. But that's only because it was hot when I woke up, so that's the shirt that I put on. I always only want to wear like long sleeves that are rolled up in a very particular way because I have like this signature Tarbuck look. But if I were to release myself from the signature Tarbuck look, I gotta say that the sleeve type in Overseer is just
Oh,
immaculate.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's heckin'
It's
cool.
best.
That's the best sleeve on the chart.
Yeah, definitely.
The second best sleeve on the chart is definitely the quick-witted / understanding sleeve.
We've got the same taste. I do like the new type one though.
Yeah, I really... The new type one is most of the thing I would want to wear. And as I said, I have something similar. And I also find the externalist one pretty cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I put that a bit more pure instinct now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good.
I guess
Man.
the one I like the most is the one in HC. That one looks cool.
It does look cool. We're not describing what these sleeves look like because I don't know clothing words, really.
I could describe some of them, but
Very
it'd be easier just to look up the picture, I guess.
Yes, it would be easiest to look up the picture, but what I want to convey to the audio-only listeners is that you really must look up this picture. It's on screen right now. Pause it, do whatever you have to do. Move heaven and earth, because this chart contains real truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Except
it's
if
like,
you're driving, please don't look that up while you're driving.
Live dangerously. Take yours and other people's lives into your hands as you stare at your phone, looking at the sleeves. Don't actually do that. I disavow my own statements.
Not only does this speak truth, this speaks truth to power.
Yes.
this is going to take down the States.
Oh. Like
It's sad that there's not much to say on it. It's just true. It
Yeah.
just rings true the way a lot of these anime characters do.
It's like,
But for people we have more vocabulary to talk about why they're a neurotype, and it's just I can see it. This is true. Which I guess makes it bad podcast material, but fuck you, it's our show.
one thing I have
there
been thinking is,
Are there any missing sleeves from this now that it's like 8 months later?
I feel like there has to be something in Aesthetician. There has to be something there. But I don't know, maybe it's good to leave it implied.
Maybe.
Maybe.
yeah.
I always felt like Contemplative was missing something.
But I do
So-
feel like I can imagine something there,
Yeah.
just based on what's around it.
I'm trying to think of other kinds of sleeves.
Like the roughly long sleeves, they're like the George on them.
the long poofy ones
Yeah.
that recollapse at like the wrist. And have like a
like a
those are cool.
like an old-timey blouse sleeve.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
What's another one? The does anybody know the show Outlander?
No.
All right,
I don't. Sorry.
I need to find this sleeve.
Leather jacket could look good. They're really distinct.
And I guess there isn't any like just tight sleeve that isn't this fishnet one.
Yeah,
which I
they're all
feel
quite
brings some
light and
extra
airy.
texture to the table.
Some rougher looking sleeves could be good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or just like really long, floaty ones, like with some old Roman robes or other stuff that I've seen more recently that just hang over the hands, kind of.
Oh, like that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Long and floofy, like thin fabric.
Yeah, I get what you mean with that.
So the sleeves on Claire's blue jacket. It doesn't look blue in this lighting, but it's Claire's blue jacket from Outlander, and they're like they're a separate piece that is laced on with like this zigzag thing, and you can see the chemise underneath it. It's like really, really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know where I would put it on this chart, but that's what it is.
I think my problem with that is you need something to compare it to, and this is like a period piece. So how do you compare it to the other ones? That's what would be tricky for me.
Yeah.
I feel like this one would go in the middle or something. Maybe.
I think it'd be more on the linear side.
Maybe. Would it be like understanding externalist-ish?
I was thinking like a bit east of contemplative.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about the zone that I would put that. And hilariously, I feel like that fits the character pretty well.
Exactly. It's perfect.
You like this is what we mean when we say this this chart contains truth, because like you can in fact chart someone based on their sleeves. Oh, that's a lot of sleeves.
Yeah, that's what I was basing it on, mostly.
Oh my god.
I don't use many
Oh,
dress
man.
sleeves. Dress sleeves could go on there somewhere.
My god, I feel super basic because mine is like the very first one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cape sleeve is kind of what I meant with that last one, but even a bit longer than the one in that image.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, it's
When
cool.
when you were describing the cape sleeve, I was picturing Gene Kisaragi from Blaze Blue. Here, that's this, where it only holds together until the elbow and it splits slightly above the elbow, and it's also obviously a separate piece as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Why is it attached? This is awful.
Oh, I love it. You don't like that?
Oh,
No.
I mean,
I would
it is
be-
interesting as a design.
I prefer it as like gloves. If you did it like the reverse way, so it's going up instead of down.
I guess that's what I would say, but it's interesting. I don't think it looks good.
I don't think it would feel good either.
Oh yeah, no, it looks horrifically uncomfortable. Shouts out to Blackbird Caw, who says pure instinct is just naked.
I mean, the stereotype is that a pure instinct would be in like a tank top or a muscle shirt or something like that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Contemplative. If that's where Walter
Yeah,
White
contemplative
goes. If
also
that's where Walter
has
White
nothing.
goes, he wears like the bookkeeper shirt and until he goes into his fugue state, and then he's naked.
Also, may I point out that pure instinct is actually not naked. You can see the topmost five square. It's also
the one
occupied by
square.
them. Yeah, the one square is occupied. Therefore, they're not.
Yeah, it's
Well,
naked.
that's no longer pure instinct. That's slightly diluted instinct.
it's just pieces of fabric that hang down over the nipples.
His instinct. I've still been meaning to do a sock typing. I always said I'd do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
remember
I was
talking to
looking
you
forward to
about-
the sock typing post.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I'll work on that now.
I feel like you could get a lot of mileage out of hats, but maybe that's just because I wear hats at all times. I'm wearing a hat right now underneath my headphones. All right, at this point, we're just making a new post. We might want to
Yeah.
circle back to this in the
Yeah,
future.
we're also, as I said, we're doing horrible audio content. We're just talking
Yeah,
about
we just-
ads that we're seeing and the audience does not.
Yes.
Well, they could if they looked at their screen, the fools, the lazy
Duh.
fucks, but they never do. So,
Or we can just cut the entire segment out. That would be
Okay.
also an option.
I'll trim it down.
So for people who are confused as to why we suddenly jumped forward like that, we just cut out like 10 minutes of us talking about what Neurotypes hats would be. We cut it because we decided that is bad audio content. And this is ostensibly a podcast. We might make a chart out of it in the future. You know that the podcast
we might
has...
also just upload that little bit of audio separately
Yeah,
oh,
you
I
should
like
do
that
that.
idea.
As
Yeah.
a special.
as an extra if you want it.
Bonus content.
The chart, it's like the podcast is now generating its own first party content. This
Oh my god.
Rika, this is a wonderful time. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll probably work on sock typing and shoe typing.
You'll see more of this in season 2.
Yeah,
Wait, no, phase 2.
Phase
2.
get the season pass.
Okay. Do you want to do your own next post? That's here. Let me find it.
Is that the last one?
3 on Neurotype Clichés, example with overseers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of this is fairly intuitive.
Okay, what the post is about is that the stereotype that we've also been making fun of a lot of the whiny overseers, like
Yeah.
nobody understands me, society will never get me, mom, is mostly just people wanting to be more special than they actually are. It's the 4 behavior Xe talked about.
Yeah,
It's people like edgy kids in media who feel misunderstood because people want to talk about themselves, and that's easy if they pretend that they are not already understood. Well, not pretend that they aren't already understood. Are more not already understood than everyone else because no one ever truly feels understood. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the only thing I have to add to this is that the stereotype is wrong that overseers are whiny piece of shit because most people are whiny piece of shit.
Yes.
It's just that people who like to characterize themselves as overseers tend to be the extra.
Yeah, it feels like a retreat into this vibiness, this less defined, more free-flowing things to absolve yourself from responsibility of actually having to explain your actions. And also you don't go full red column because then you'd have to commit to acting like a lunatic.
Yep.
Which most people don't.
One day I will.
They get this plausible deniability of saying they're weird but not committing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just cowardice. Act like a lunatic or stop it. Cease your whining.
I'm edging further into lunatic, so I'm good on that.
I like this little piece of history down here in the comments.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, where you're like, never mind, everyone commenting is an annoyed overseer. We fit the stereotype.
Yeah.
Does that mean that at the time that you wrote that your flair was overseer?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, I can't even remember the times. That was.
I think even Magica's was overseer at the time.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird. And I think that deleted comment is him.
Just realized this entire post is kind of stereotypes are wrong. I wish I had more of I swear I had more of a point at first. I should make notes before writing something.
No, see, this is red column behavior.
Yeah.
This is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is definitely red column behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, and now come to you mid-job on the top of a ladder. I had some thoughts. This is sort of spiraling off from the vlog that I did. Okay, basically, I think it seems like there's sort of this pinch of impressionism where linearity and laterality become indistinguishable. You know? Almost. I had kind of this crisis, like seeing myself on camera like that and barely being able to form words in a way that I wanted. So that's something else to think about. Good luck finding a place for this. Oh, look at that. That's great.
Okay, yeah. Semi-assertion. I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to, now that we've done your posts for this episode, do you want to stay on with us as we go back through everything else in chronological order?
For this episode, I'll stay on for now if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You can leave at any point if you feel like it. Okay. More logical. Are the structural elements in media that draw... Are there structural elements in media that draw particular neurotypes? Jesus Christ, I can't read. Okay.
Red column behavior.
Red column behavior, yes.
Got him.
I think this post is like pretty insightful. And
yeah, so it's essentially asking the question of are there tropes or styles of storytelling or whatever, like media elements besides just there are characters of my neurotype in this media which draw people to things. Because, a lot of the recommendations that the witch gave us were just, this has characters of this type, you'd probably enjoy this. And somewhere, this has, like a very clearly defined story structure, so technicians would like it, and such. So, what are these other elements of stories that could attract certain neurotypes? That's a good question.
One of my favourite early things that the witch said was about Monkey and how he's lexical, and because he's lexical, he intentionally likes to break rules, which can almost make it confusing and make it seem like he's impressionist. I think that's like a interesting way of interpreting it.
That's an insightful insight. I don't know, fugue state. Okay, it's official. I'm going to embroider fugue state into the sleeve of one of my shirts.
Hell yeah.
Or maybe you could have a hat that flips around and then you can embroider it on the inside of it.
Yeah.
So when you remember, you just like flip around.
Totes.
Okay. Let me quickly take this opportunity to shit on one guy. Like, as I said, this post is phrased as a question, so most of the content is in the comments. And there's one technician guy in there who first goes into a thing of how he doesn't actually care about, like, set story structure despite being a high lex, and then explains how he pretty much only cares about precise story structure.
Yeah, I want to highlight that entire conversational thread.
The story has to clearly establish each new location the characters go to, making characters follow the entire chain of reason or emotion on screen rather than having them straight to the premise or conclusion, making it clear how each scene connects to the next, and avoiding tonal whiplash.
Are completely necessary.
And oh boy, fuck this guy. Like, life has tonal whiplash. Fuck verisimilitude. Things in stories don't have to make sense. It feels. Oh god, this sounds condescending, but sometimes with things like this, it feels like you'd have to have I have to wonder what kind of life you must have led to be at all interested in media which portrays the world as though it makes sense and follows logical patterns, because I intrinsically don't get that and would find it incredibly artificial if I were exposed to it.
Well, like,
on the side note, you can ping him because he's on the Discord. Or maybe he didn't switch over from the OG Discord, but I remember him being there in Discord and talking to him.
The one show he'd like is Phineas and Ferb. That's the show that follows a consistent set of logic every episode.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Like, there's a difference between being realistic and verisimilitude. Like, verisimilitude, veritas, truth, similitude, similar, seeming true. So this is mostly what people mean with suspension of disbelief. You accept, like, a set of premises, but you can still accept a story as logical if all the reactions to these premises and the extrapolations seem to still follow coherent logic, even if the things you have to accept are shit like magic is real.
Yeah. Like, zombies can start showing up, and so long as people scream, it's fine.
Right, exactly. And even that is going too far.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to say, like, a word in defense of verisimilitude. Like, I always think about people being like the actor who played Sam in Game of Thrones was like, I don't understand why people keep asking me why Sam is still fat after being north of the wall and all of that stuff. Like, you know, you can accept dragons and ice zombies and stuff, but you can't accept a fat person.
Yeah.
And like, from a human perspective, I totally get it, because it's people being shitty to a real person. But in terms of like just isolating the story aspect of it, well, dragons are a clear departure from reality, and ice zombies are a clear departure from reality, and we expect all the other parts to behave as normal, because if not, then you wind up with like I forget the name of it, but it was just like a series of disconnected images and stuff like that, and it was packaged as a movie, and people would fucking riot if you you were to like not signpost that the air in this world is thick enough to swim through, but only sometimes, and like fire is cold now, and like constantly change stuff within the world, like willy-nilly. Yeah, we expect the world to behave a particular way, and the departures need to be conveyed to the audience. That's just storytelling.
Yeah, people want worlds and magic systems and bullshit rule sets explained to them instead of just enjoying characters interacting in a story. And it just seems like, bitch, those things are there for you. Those things are there to facilitate the characters and their interactions. I will stand by this. Why do you care about the bullshit things that have to be gotten out of the way? People really have not absorbed show don't tell.
In Lord of the Rings, a whole lot of people focus on things like, well, what are the exact power limits of the Ring of Power? Like,
That makes sense because Tolkien was a weird world builder.
Yeah.
So, like, Lord of the Rings is very much structured the opposite way. It's the characters serve to explore the world, not the world serves to facilitate the characters.
The world is the character there.
Yeah, right.
Yes and no. Like, the word that I want to speak in disagreement of that is that, like, the important parts of the Ring's power are how it affects people in a personal way. And, like, the reason that the ring doesn't have, like, clearly defined rules is because its purpose is a thematic one. Like, it is the temptation to do evil in like, or to give yourself over to evil when you are trying to do good, and it, like, the burden of that and its malevolent influence erodes your soul, and that's a very ephemeral thing, and it's not like the hard sci-fi of comic books, you know, like it's meant to be clearly understandable, and there's definitely rules that are applying there, but they are thematic rules. They're personal scale. They're not like what is the soul physics of the Lord of the Rings universe? That is not the point.
Yeah. I mean, comic book world building and its consequences have certainly been a disaster for the human race.
As somebody who really likes comic book world building and stuff like that, I must agree.
Good.
I cannot defend my own people.
Yeah.
Anyway, to bring this back to what we were actually supposed to be talking about, I think about, I see, like, comment chains like this, or I think about, like, known technicians such as Nate Bestman, and that harkens me back to the Golden Witch's original attempt at typologizing people, the autism chart. And I think that technicians are level 2 autists, which actually means that, like, the autism axis spikes considerably further for what she meant in that post than what is actually on the neurotyping chart. So I guess you grab one corner of it and you curve it off into infinity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's like the autism circle. Like, you put a circle in the square and you end up with these large chunks.
Need I remind you of the horror show?
Oh, that thing.
Yep. The horror show.
No, you brought it back. Get it away.
Excellent. All right. So my other point here is, like, to return to what the post itself was actually talking about. Are there things in storytelling or genres or whatever that lend themselves better to, like just the contours of them appeal to different neurotypes? I think yes.
Yeah.
And one of the pieces that I would submit as evidence is the music of Daft Punk is highly lexical like music, and it is the key to getting categorical people to understand vibes. Like, when we say just vibin' or talk about vibes in general, like, this is a highly structured set of vibes.
Is it lexically crafted or of lexical appeal?
I think both.
I mean, the craft of it is, like, very, very careful, but I do think the thing that we end up with is also very...
It can be both.
Like, it's sort of what Tarbeck said. It is like, vibes, but it is, like, highly structured vibes, like, very carefully chosen.
Yeah.
Okay. I just try not to...
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, with something like music, you know, most music has, like, structure, like, both to it. So it's like, wherever we type it, you could like make some kind of argument for
Yeah,
someone
that's
else,
true.
probably.
But there's clearly something separate in music like Daft Punk, because
Yeah.
it is highly structured, and like one of the key facts that I found about Daft Punk is that a lot of diagnosed autistic people really like Daft Punk, probably because of that highly structured long-range order kind of thing, in a way that you might find Penrose tilings to be satisfying, because it's variation within a set of constrained rules that doesn't repeat, but it has a clear underlying structure, as opposed to like more random quasi-crystals, which are just like bleh.
Yeah, Penrose tilings are a way of covering an infinite surface in tiles of certain shapes in a way that does not repeat patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to approach neurotype almost like moods or frames of mind or skills, like you said earlier. And in that way, I don't see why it'd be any different to like listening to a sad song when you're sad or an exciting song when you want to be excited. So I don't see why different types of media wouldn't appeal to different neurotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with music, jazz is an interesting example. Because it has like it has a big range to it. Like I think most of it sort of would orbit around the purple column, since it is like somewhat about like breaking musical rules a little bit. There are definitely more structured forms of jazz that could be in the blue, maybe even leaning green. But then you have like really crazy stuff like that. It seems like almost all improv and the types of keys and stuff you're throwing out. I'm not great with terms, but it'd be very red, like very dissonant, very chaotic type jazz, you know?
Yeah. Like there's clearly like clusters of vibes at work where you can differentiate between good jazz and bad jazz, but you can't really write sheet music for it, for that kind. Like the stuff that was played in clubs in like the 20s and 30s.
Right.
Like they tried to write some music scholars tried to investigate it and write sheet music for it, and they couldn't. Like it had to be explained to them, like, nah, that's not how any of this works, dude.
Here, let me plop my square pusher typing in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like an electronic artist, but has like a jazz like background and implements a lot of that into his stuff. That one over an aesthetician is like kind of what I was talking about, like just really weird stuff. Like it's kind of wandering around doing whatever it wants, and it's also a lot about like the texture, like getting these weird, very specific sounds and like messing with those for an entire track.
I love the look of neurocharts that have a bunch of album covers on them, but the frustrating thing is that they are ungoogleable. Like I can't look up any of this shit, man.
Yeah. It's square pusher.
Square pusher. Yeah. Oh, this is all one guy. Okay.
Yep. So this is his discography.
All right.
So if you ever want a deep dive and tell me if I'm wrong or not.
I do, but I ran out of time like 3 times over. Oh, man. All right, so let's see. What are some of the examples that, like, we've done the technician's example. Let's see. From the post, reasonable people will probably enjoy shonen or older protagonists as fairly straightforward and aesthetically cool shows. Pure Instinct is best at wacky adventure stories. And I want to expand on that and say that, like, I think a satisfying stream of just, like, sensory, like, sense pleasure type shows where things that are happening are consistently cool and cool looking and are satisfying to watch. That kind of thing.
Anything from, like, Sakuga to, like, Art House or anything.
Yeah.
Sounds like exciting.
I think of like and there's definitely series that have like broader appeal, like Fooly Cooly seems like it would appeal really well to like the entire red column
I need
and the entire purple
I
column.
need to see Furikuri.
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't gone into it yet.
That was first show I saw, first anime I saw.
If you want to get the most out of it, it requires a lot of homework, but you will probably enjoy it. Just like based on what I know about you from reading your posts and talking to you, I think you'll have a good time.
It's Hajime Ueda, isn't it? Who's involved in it, at least.
yeah.
I love him.
Who worked on that? I remember it was a Production IG and Studio Gainax joint production.
Yeah, I think Hajime Ueda did the original art or something.
A lot of that stuff is falling out of my head.
Yeah, he did the original manga.
Yeah.
I love that guy, so yeah, I'd like it.
Okay. The manga is a completely different experience. It even tells like a different story from the anime, but it's so
Okay.
I love it.
I'll get into the anime then, since that's like what it's known for, I guess.
Oh, do both, but
Okay. I'll start with the anime then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched an anime since like Gauto Kyoryu.
I think the manga came afterwards anyway.
Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, it is. That's one of the things that stood out to me so much about it.
Okay.
Anyway.
It also has a really good English dub.
It does. It has an English dub that is basically just the Japanese dub, but in English. Like the intonation, the contours of the things that they say, it's all like very Japanese.
Uh-huh.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, that was the first anime I saw, and it's pretty
I've seen
nice.
it hundreds of times. That's not true. I've seen it maybe 3 dozen times, which is a lot.
I mean, it's fairly short, so
Yeah.
I'd believe you.
I think that might have been one of the first things that made me really care about Ben Saint, was that you said that Fulakuli was his favorite anime. Like, yeah.
I feel like I used to know that about him. I really like Ben Saint and Ben related media.
Yeah, I like him.
All right. Do we want to move on to the README post?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is a video.
The video boy.
Yeah. Neurotheory 5 cannot be easier. And the idea is essentially that having 16 types isn't really necessary to explain neurotyping to people, and you should just start with what are the axes, and consider them as binary. You are linear, or you are lexical. You are impressionist, or you are linear or lateral, lexical, impressionist. And yeah, then you have 4 quadrants. That's easy, that's simple. You judge yourself on 2 binaries. Done. And then you can later maybe get into the nuance of, okay, how much am I either these things or whatever? Because really the chart is essentially continuous. You just follow the axes, and probably dividing it in 16 just makes it needlessly complicated for people you want to expand to. I disagree, because I think people like labels, and having more labels is better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. People really enjoy labels.
Yes.
Yeah, and he calls these quadrants,
compute, abstract, understood, and instinct. And I posted a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
Whenever I first introduce people to neurotyping, I just don't name quadrants at all. That's not the point. That's just a way of communicating the ideas once you've already understood them. So I wouldn't even get the point of naming them this way.
I mean, I don't mind these quadrant names. I think they're pretty good, except for understood.
I think
even
since
understanding.
he's changed it to order.
I don't know, like, even if it were called understanding, that would bother me a lot more than the neurotype understanding bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because understanding is about being understanding of people. Like that phrase.
I think the fact that it's written as understood, like past tense, it has been understood is key.
Society has integrated these modes of thinking. They understood. They are.
Yeah, I think that's key to the name of the quadrant, which is why I like it, although it is the one that I like the least. I like being able to refer to the quadrants because I do that a lot. Like that image that I made, or the little animation that I made. It is meant to highlight that basic concept, you know?
Where the overseer is the understood abstraction.
Okay, I linked his very recent updated thing on this. So if we want, you can look at that.
Quadrants. Instinct, order. That works. That works really well.
Yeah.
If I may add a thing to this,
Mhm.
the thing is, my intuition is like when you introduce first people into it, then they find no interest in it because they simply can't relate to anything there is. Like it's just 4 labels, and you compute stuff. Okay, great. What do I do now?
I mean, yeah, but Reed specifically says explain the axes first.
Yeah.
Just make people decide if they are natural or linear and if they are lexical or impressionist.
I think
Yeah, I
maybe
agree.
lateral and linear might be the tougher one to like make people understand.
But people can get the basic idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to miscommunicate it in terms
Sure.
of, well, you are just smart. We know this
Yeah,
because
that's
when Trixie, great and powerful though she is, tried to explain it first, a lot of people understood it as, oh, this is when you're smart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
if
still
you can
think that was
function,
a-
then you're smart, probably. Yes.
Functional
Kinda.
people are smart, even though like part of her point was that these people, like the further out you go, the less functional you become.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think this is just her following, which intrinsically thinks that autists are somehow smarter than other people.
Mhm. I mean, that
I kind
aligns
of
with her
agree.
beliefs a lot.
I mean, yeah, sure. I do think Beatrice believes this to some extent.
Mhm.
Maybe not smarter, but certainly more interesting.
I like being able to conceive of the quadrants in this way. Like you can reverse engineer that if the bottom rightmost corner, if the yellow corner is pure instinct, then that means that new type is pure abstract, human calculator is pure compute, and bookkeeper is pure order. And
In this case, maybe
yeah.
we better to have the names in the far corners and have them like stretching towards the middle instead of naming them as quadrants.
If you had
Yeah.
like gradients
yeah.
in the corners,
Yeah, gradients
bleeding
in the
out,
corners,
bleeding out into each other.
stretching into the center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
that could depict it well.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. Although, like, to step back a minute from my fixation on trying to get the quadrants across to people, that is just because I talk about quadrants to people a lot, because I'll usually narrow them down in my head to a quadrant or something and then stop there and not type anybody any further than that because typing people is hard. So being able to refer to the quadrants is a lot easier than telling people, oh, the bottom left quadrant, as though they have memorized the chart.
Yeah.
I tend to just say linimp or lindex or whatever.
Yeah, internally we just use let lex, let imp, lindex, and linimp. But I feel like these labels could be also very cool. Like, not being 100% descriptive, but also like having an intuition for those why we're speaking.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, to backcheck if this works, I like doing the cardinal convolution word combination for each of the type and seeing if that fits. And I really like understanding being abstracting order, because that really works with Digi's caretaker archetype, trying to bring the more out there people into the fold. It's literally abstracting order for people.
And then that makes me
And similarly
ordering
for
the
the
abstract.
overseer, who are, ordering abstract.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
These all work. They're great. Love them.
Yeah.
They're good, yeah.
So I'm like,
This is excellent. Yes. Endorse.
Yeah.
so I'm like computing the abstract / abstracting the abstract, whatever that means. And then Oro is like,
Yeah, instinctual abstraction.
yeah, you don't think too much about it. You just do it.
You just do it.
You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Tolgi is a supercomputer. Where's Mr. Chips?
Yeah, how would you even like make an instinct of an instinct?
I
pure
like
instinct.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like going pure computation, pure abstracting, pure order, and pure instinct for the absolute corners.
Yeah,
That seems
that's
good.
also funny.
Yeah. Pure instinct just gets to keep its name.
Yeah.
Which very, very much fits with this implied simplicity of pure instinct. Just, it's immune to this type of change. Just gets to keep its name. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. I think that...
Yeah, I like this video. It was probably good to introduce people to neurotyping.
Yep. And since nobody else has, I think, a thing on this, I think you just move on.
Yeah.
And the next one is about from Influence Danger. It's about the public perception of neurotyping charts.
Oh god.
Yeah. Who wants to go? Who wants to have the first go at this?
Memes are bad. I'm gonna need you guys to stop having fun.
Yeah, what it
Basically,
says
yes.
is, well, guys, anime is gay. Maybe you type real people because people don't care about anime.
Okay, let me defend this. Let me steel man it. Back at this point, back in this historical era, people were still talking about the hope that neurotyping would hit the mainstream.
Yeah,
that
right.
it'd become like a meme on some meme subreddit or something. So I think there's like some validity to it, that they were hoping to have like reach a broader audience. But yeah, it's dumb as fuck.
I get it. It's especially depending on what circle these people operate in. I get that they thought, hey, I've found this cool, interesting personality thing, but I can't talk to my friends about because they'll think I'm an autist for liking anime.
You are.
I mean, yes, but
Also, they dissed me in it. They dissed me personally.
yeah, it is good to have like a diverse field of media or other things to relate this back to, because not everyone's seen anime. Obviously, that's a good idea.
But you know what everybody has seen? Sleeves.
Yes. And I think Scry makes a good point here. Neurotyping fictional characters is much easier than real people, since you see them a lot in more different situations, and can even get insight into their minds. And to add to that, the fact that the people here are likely to know much more fictional people than real ones. I guess the closest thing you can get is the Discord and so on and so on.
The Discord, by the way. Join the Discord.
Also, typing fictional characters has the immense added benefit that they can't disagree with you.
You'd have to argue
So I
about
think
it
people
for hours.
would feel a lot safer typing characters from media than their friends, for example, because their friends could look into it and be like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't understand me at all. John.
I think what we need to do is there's like a lot of like anime being typed, but we need to like type all the normal shows that people watch.
Oh, but then I have to watch the normal shows that people watch.
Well, don't worry, I'm
efforts
working
in
on
doing that.
Okay.
I'm working on the Star Trek right now.
Whoa.
Wait, let me break that out.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, I'm almost done with TNG, and I've already seen Voyager a bunch, so I think the only one, maybe Deep Space Nine, and then maybe the original. I don't think I'll care about the Enterprise one, that weird one.
And the only media typing charts I ever did were also somewhat niche, at least. Like I did one for the Owl House at one point, and I did one for the Fears from the Magus archives.
Yeah,
I think, I'm Wesley Crusher. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done?
No, you're also William Riker, though.
Yeah, I'm glad that I get to be Riker, but the guy who's like
overseer.
Directly overlapping my square is...
Wesley isn't that
I'm
bad.
really glad I get Guy now.
I think the bad thing about Wesley is the situations they put him in. They have to put him in these awkward kid situations for some reason instead of
it's
like...
definitely a writer's problem, not a character's problem, where they give him dumb stuff.
Yeah, maybe he gets better stuff as he goes on.
Right.
Yeah. But
I like, as a minor aside, I want to highlight this And to add to that, the fact that people here are likely to know more fictional characters than real ones. All right, this has nothing to do with neurotyping, but I wanna just raise this specter to haunt you guys. Okay, try naming every person that you know personally or have met personally in your entire life.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone knows far more fictional characters by name than real people.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, like, but think about that in like a historical context too. Like, imagine how all the people in like the 1800s would have answered a question like that. Name all the people you've ever met and had any kind of personal relationship with in your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then compare that to the number of fictional characters that we're exposed to in even a single year. Like, that is a breathtaking number of people.
Mm-hmm.
Even just like people in adverts and stuff, or like commercials.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's a character, isn't it? Fuck.
Yeah. Like, you have some amount of personal insight into the emotional state of Jake from State Farm. Don't you? Being like, you have some empathy for the guy being in that position, and the wife and the husband. Like,
and the slap chop guy and the flex tape guy.
What a time to be alive, man. All right, well, with that existential crisis out of the way, I guess.
I was going to say, basically, if you can get a bunch of like varied and complete charts on a lot of different things, you can ask people like the things that they know, and you could show them a chart based on that. It's like, oh, he knows this show, and I have a chart for that.
Yeah, that is. I do want more of that. I'm sorry, I don't know any shows people actually like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you do, man. And I got some pretty broad tastes.
And that also only means that one other person who also likes that thing you like will feel even more like he's been granted some sublime thing, because he didn't know anyone cared about that, and then he might shut him.
Time to do my Bleach execution arc. Neurotyping chart. That 3 people read.
Yes.
I would love to see that. I was really into Bleach for a long time.
Were you, do you like, did you get to the execution arc? The one that's like just after the Eisen arc.
Just after the Eisen arc. I did not.
No, that's where I got my username from. So I'm nostalgic for it. Ruruka Dokugamine. Like, she's a shit character, but she's one of my favourite anime characters.
Post pics.
Yeah, definitely. I'm doing that right now. Because, like, if Bleach is good at anything, it's character design.
That's not a familiar face to me.
Yeah.
Hey, that was her PFP, wasn't it? This character? For a while?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
I dig
I remember that.
All right. I want this comment that you have or this section here that you've highlighted. This is not to say that people shouldn't chart anime characters at all, but I've seen content such as neurotyping erogenous zones. Content like that makes neurotyping seem much less important than it actually is. I believe that neurotyping can have an impact on society beyond just this. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Did you know having fun is not a problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Decriminalize fun.
Yeah, don't blame other people for not doing what you want. Do what you want.
Yes.
Be proactive about it.
Yeah, it's not a tug of war. It's you go off in these different directions, and
it's not a zero-sum game. You can add yourself to it.
When they say neurotyping is important, presumably it would be important because it helps people contextualize themselves and their lives and shit, which they would probably do in applying it to things they care about, which they are doing, and simultaneously you tell them not to because it makes it seem less important. Absolutely fuck you.
Well, I'm tapped of content for this one.
Well,
yeah.
Are we done here? Yeah. What the neurotype looks like to a technician by not null, not void. The technician with the bad take on media from before. But oh well. I'm still thankful to them for inventing this format because it will come up later.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
nice.
love this
Oh, yeah.
format.
Okay, he describes human calculators as comrades, analysts as comrades, fascinators as dangerous, new types as insufferable, technicians as it me, quick-witteds as the good normies, overseers as normies, aestheticians as endearing, contemplatives as comrades, understandings as mom, externalists as normies, impressionists as endearing, bookkeepers as pedants, level-headeds as normies, clear-sighteds as normies, and pure instincts as unknowable and a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, it is to be said, yeah, there are like 5 types who are normies. Yes, and 4 comrades, so to say, if you just include yourself as comrade, which you should do. Question mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
No,
a
you should
good,
hate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very creative. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got this L shape of normies.
U-shape, actually, if you include the good normies in it.
Oh, yeah.
And
This guy calls himself a lexicon. He couldn't even come up with 16 distinct words.
I think
well, it might be that he acknowledges differentiation between these different types, but considers it trivial or not worth categorizing,
of
and so just
course.
lumps them all
Right.
into
He
the ignore
actually did
category.
categorize. He lumped things together into fuck. Another point for why categorical is the better term.
Yep, I've been
think-
trying to push cats as a thing.
Yeah, right.
But it only seems to make it into my notes. Like I have Lexi's written down as cats like all over the place,
Yeah.
and in some cases Lego cats.
Yeah.
Lego
Also, a good episode title completely out of context. I've been trying to push cats.
I've been trying to push cats.
Yeah, Tabak, could you like explain the Lego cat to me? I don't understand what you meant
No,
by
I-
that. No.
I don't get what
Okay,
you're saying.
a Lego cat is a categorical person who thinks of the world in terms of Legos, discrete pieces that fit together one way or one series of ways, but not another way. You get it?
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
The
Is it
Lego
like
movie.
a term? Did Kant use it, for example?
I hope so, but I am certain that he did not. I don't think Legos
Oh,
existed
sorry.
at the time.
Wow.
So that just comes spontaneously to my brain. After I realized how wrong that is.
I just like Legos as a metaphor for a categorical person's thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense after you explained it, but I had
What-
nothing in my mind.
Would a chart looping lexical person be Schrodinger's cat?
Man, this show is so quotable.
Yeah. That's because I don't know.
That's because we're very smart and very funny.
Yeah. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
And we're very discerning with our guests too. Even our guests are brilliant.
Yes.
I am.
Yes. That's why a podcast is not a podcast without its guests.
And you too are very funny and smart for listening to this show.
Hell yeah. Man, I keep looking at this Rika character. Like, damn.
This Rika
Yeah,
character.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you talk about me
I mean,
personally.
yes, you too. But like I'm just picturing you as this person now. Yeah.
Yeah. I used this as my profile pic for years because I was a weeb with no creativity.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But
I have had anime profile pictures, shameful as that
And-
is.
And now you've traded up your in autism levels to ponies.
yeah. Shut up.
Dude, follow me on Twitter. My icon is still a pony.
What?
Oh, great. I'm glad.
Oh, did you not know that about me, Tolgi?
Oh, I couldn't. I can't. The only identity of you is like the cross T of you. So everything else is weird. I mean, I didn't even know you before the podcast. First
Yeah,
episode was
yeah.
my first interaction with you. So,
In Tolga's mind, there's just a floating double T.
but
Speaks
that's
into the
what most
darkness
people
and
are
nothing else.
in the server, actually, when I haven't seen them. Yeah, that's what, usually what happens.
This seems like green column shit.
Which does?
Having people
yeah.
as disembodied symbols representing them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fucking good though, right?
I like that this is one of the rare bookkeeper positive posts. Like the pedants and bookkeepers has a little heart beneath it.
Yeah, it's cute.
I like
Yeah,
bookkeepers.
it's very cute. Yeah, technicians would probably be more appreciative of bookkeepers.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I think
most
this
people, I
the
guess.
new types being insufferable describes the relation to that and like mid green column pretty well in my
Yeah.
own experience.
Probably. I find it interesting that aestheticians and impressionists are labeled as endearing.
Yeah, maybe they haven't interacted enough yet.
I guess sometimes when it's not people you have to talk to directly, I feel like a lot of hard lexis just perceive the red column as not quite conscious, oftentimes.
Unconscious people. Didn't Tolga call new types unconscious or something?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, like I don't think Nate would find me endearing. I mean, I've talked to Nate and I've shat on him a fair amount. So yes, every technician continues to be Nate. This is a common theme on this show. Reductionism is good, actually.
Reductionism is excellent.
Trick. Yeah. Also, one thing about the comrade thingy. Yeah, I have to say, as me, when I saw the chart, I was like, oh yeah, if I just would make it for me, human calculator, I would do almost the same comrades. So me, analysts and technicians. However, I would exclude contemplatives. They're just too far away from me, from laterality.
Gotcha. I'd like to see more like comrades versus normies, etc. in charts.
Oh my god!
Depending on where you're standing.
Comrades versus normies. Oh my god, this is such a good dichotomy.
Yeah.
I wonder what analyst people would say. I guess kinda. Yeah. I mean, analysts and human calculus are like very, very close together, like working together. That's literally the perfect synergy is like no game, no life. Where literally a human calculator analyst like overthrow the whole world. Or like, okay, not overthrowing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, conquer.
Conquer, yeah. Rule over the world.
So, all right, so I snarl at the concept of being called a normie, of being accused of being a normie.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Would Nate consider me a normie? I mean, I know personally that he doesn't because we met at BronyCon. To find out more, search for Belt Saga. But
would you actually find that if you only search for the term belt?
If you search hashtag Belt Saga, you should find the Twitter posts that I made about it.
Well, with the hashtag, maybe.
Yeah.
I get other things if I just search for Belt Saga.
Once you meet someone at BronyCon, you can't be a normie.
Tobar Transom here. Coming to you after hours at 5:30 in the morning. I told myself today was going to be another short day. Oh well. So, as I sit here under yellow light, I think back to the time where I was talking to Jesse at BronyCon about the yellow thing, where it came from, why it happened in the first place, and I confirmed a theory that I had. You would know the story already if you watch my recap of BronyCon 2019. There's a lot of stories in there anyway. I asked him about it, and I proposed him my theory first, so that I couldn't just claim to have gotten it right afterwards. And it turns out I was right. See, he was filming in a basement, and there was light coming in off of and reflecting off of something that was yellow, casting it into the room. And so that changed the lighting a little bit. But the main culprit was that the light had a little bit more yellow in it than other light does. See, a flashlight like this one is designed to have a warm tint to it. It looks more like candlelight. Incandescent bulbs look that way too. But a lot of lights that we're used to seeing these days are LED driven on the cool side because those are cheap to make and they come out looking pretty blue. And this is compared to sunlight, which isn't even the reference for me anymore because human beings don't go outside anymore. Anyway, I asked him about all of these things and I was like, so you make it look like via color correction, you make it look like exactly what it looks like to stand in that room and look around. The way that it looks in those videos is the way that it looks to your eyes, isn't it? And he's like, yes, obviously. Like, that's what color correction is for. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew it the whole time. We catch up about not catch up. This is the first time that I'm meeting the guy in a casual context. But we talked for a little bit, and then the story kind of gets away from me right here, because then we go downstairs, down 2 flights of stairs, and meet up with I Love Compossible a lot, Jenny Nicholson, and ContraPoints. And then we go to the live showing of the re-release of the original Discord, which has been like remastered and remixed and stuff by Odyssey Eurobeat himself, the guy who made it, and we all rave together. And that that still blows me away that happened. And I feel like we're far enough removed from all of that. Like, that was the whole yellow joke was 4 years ago. You realize that? Half the people who are listening to my voice right now don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. At all. Do you even know who Jesse is without me saying it? I think a lot about how these things that are so important to us, that we try very desperately to hang on to because they're important to us personally. It's hard to share that stuff with other people, with new people. So we keep talking about these things. It forms a part of my language to talk about these things and these people, the shows, the videos that are gone now. Yesterday morning, from now, about 20 hours ago, the Golden Witch privated all those other videos. Now I got them. You can find them at 21st Century Digital Archive. Links in the description. But that's not the point. The point is that that's another layer of abstraction removed from trying to show these things that define the way that I think about media to another person. Like, all of My Little Pony is like that. I hope neurotyping doesn't become one of those things, because it's such a useful tool for human analysis, for communication with people who are different from you in ways that you wouldn't otherwise understand. I feel like a big part of my legacy, my focus, is on legacy. That's why I resonated so much with Vsauce back in the day, because that, like, legacy and solitude is what that show is basically about. And trying to keep that stuff from falling away is kind of a big part of my branding. At least I talk about it a lot. That's the feeling of getting old, isn't it? seeing all these things slip away from you and you can't share them and you can only really remember them and acknowledge that you're going to be the last person to get it because the world is moving on without you, and you have to know what the new things are or you'll just be dust in the wind. This whole bit is a reference to the yellow vlogs that were intercut in the yellow episode. Maybe this will be that for you.
Brunchy no belts.
No, I don't even get it with hashtag belt saga.
Wow.
Oh, it's the second one. It's the second one. The first one is something in Arabic. Who knew?
Yeah.
Would you do a full face of makeup and not wear eyeliner, fam? Brown shoes, no belts. I don't think I'm guessing your best.
Okay, I totally thought that maybe there's just too much information on Twitter for it to show. I wonder if it would get it from...
Oh, on Twitter. I was just searching on Google.
Yeah, I tried that first too. I wonder what happens if I search for it on YouTube. No? All right, I'm going to go ahead and add Belt Saga to the tags on that video that I made. I was sure that it was on there. Yeah, experience BronyCon 2019 vicariously through me. All right, there we go. All right, I'm just editing my YouTube video here.
As you do.
There we go. I added hashtag Belt Saga.
I like how there's an overseer asking, I am curious, why do you consider us and the two below us normies? To which, not null, not void, typed a fucking page.
At first, I didn't really have a good explanation for why I felt this way, but I thought about it a bit, and here's what I came up with. Yeah, I'm voicing him like a villain. Normies can essentially be regarded as one's capability to naturally fit into the norms of the society they live in. Or to frame it from the other direction, norminess is defined by the extent to which the society someone lives in was built to accommodate and cater to people like them. You think the society was built to cater to me?
Yeah, to overseers? Interesting take, buddy.
See, I knew the zone of exclusion was bullshit.
For very lexical people, the arbitrary nature of many societies' rules and norms, the inconsistency with which they are applied in practice, and the vast amount of social etiquette that can't be understood lexically is a constant source of frustration that puts them at odds with the world around them.
Yeah. He just has bad social skills.
Oh God.
This is a low functioning technician. That's my current take.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some trouble like typing him in the server. Yeah, we weren't sure if you just do technician or just like nothing at all because he didn't know how to express himself. Yeah.
I like how this guy has the reverse. No, wait. That other technician guy was him. This guy is having the reverse act to himself.
Yeah, he's the only technician we're talking about.
Like, well, I don't like media that doesn't follow strict rules like reality does. And he was like, well, I don't like that reality doesn't follow strict rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's like an amazing thing about it. I only realized it later. It's like actually like same person as the post later and before.
That's incredible. I love this. All right.
Oh boy.
Last post?
This one is now finished, right?
Yeah. Last post. Blue Foxy. Hey, can I ask you something? Would you say you think more in words or more in inner images or concepts? Honestly, asking this question to people has been such a blast. I understand my friends so much better now. This has been great. And, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yes. Good going, buddy.
This is something I wanted to ask a lot when I first joined the server, way back.
Yeah.
I probably should have done it more. Looks like this is the first reply I made on neurotyping, it looks like.
Nice.
I love questions like these. I think this is the magic of neurotyping in action. What are some other questions that are like this? do you have an internal monologue, or can you picture things in your mind? And if so, where is the picture? Like there's a lot of questions like this. It's one of the things that I like following CGP Grey for, is because he stumbles onto stuff like this all the time. Yeah.
Do you think we should go through all of us here and try and see what it's like?
Yeah. I have answered that in the past, but I'm definitely willing to rehash that.
Yeah. Who should start?
So so I have a sneezing cat on me. I think in words in my head a lot, but in the amount of internal monologue that I have comes and goes in terms of how complete it is. When I am spiking downwards into the contemplative zone, then it's full sentences in like a continuous thought stream. But most of the time it's like little fragments that are just kind of like associated with one another. Like, you know, when you're composing a text message and you like false start a couple of times and back up over it, it's like that, but like in your brain. And the rest of it is like trying to stretch together or trying to stitch together metaphors and stuff out of otherwise disconnected shapes.
I also often I've forgotten the words that left my head. Whoops.
Yeah, that's all right.
As I said before, I don't have internal monologues unless I'm doing it actively, which is mainly for essentially writing things in my head when I don't have anything to type. Because some thoughts just don't translate well into writing, like stylistically, from how they read. So sometimes if you want to write something down, you have to make it a sentence first, and can't start from the beginning.
Well, yeah, for me, it's like I'm very much almost always in dialogue with myself. Yeah, that might be an issue, like when I'm actually writing stuff, because then I just have the template for like in like dialogue form, and whenever I have to like write in a concise way, I completely fail, except if it's like actually like a pure math text, then it's of course different, because I can't do that in a dialogue, obviously.
Well,
best thing is to write down bullet points. Then you can just write free form in bullet points, and you can collate that into a more concise work.
There was some like really, really fundamental book on set theory or something like that.
There's a lot of books about that, yes.
Where it was written as a dialogue in the style of like the Greek classics, because they thought that it was the best way to clearly explain what they were trying to get across. So like if you want to just write your shit in the form of dialogue, like you'd be in good company.
It has been done before, so it's a good idea.
I don't know if I have much to say on like monologue. Like, it's mostly just a tool that I have sometimes that feels directly connected to the speaking instinct. I think there was a post somewhere on this Reddit. I think it was way later. I don't remember where, but somebody brought up that when it's like you're about to speak, it like activates the same muscles as the voice.
Yeah, subvocalization.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, pretty much, when I'm just like working through something, or I have to like memorize something. Like last night I was going through sorting all the music I listen to, like writing down all the dates for each one, and that's an example where I would just sort of like mutter it to myself a couple of times so I wouldn't forget the date. But other than that, yeah, I'd say I'm mostly like smooth brain.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you're smooth, dude.
No.
But I just like to use the word smooth brain.
Maybe you should go more like more of an automatic subconscious.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Um,
I'm just
I'm
unpretentious
interested.
now.
I'm interested too in like what it looks like in everybody's head. For me, it's like I would describe it as like a movie theater where there's multiple projectors on the same spot doing whatever they want, and each individual speaker in the theater is also doing whatever it wants, and sometimes they line up and sometimes they don't. So you get like just sort of phased together like nonsense, unless I'm like focusing on something.
I know exactly what you mean.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like when you listen to multiple audio clips that are kind of blended together on top of each other?
Yeah. Kind of like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Like the famous get money thing,
Yeah.
where they slowly become desynchronized and then slowly resynchronize.
Kind of, yeah. Although, like,
Yeah.
more, like, not even in a straight line, just kind of doing whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like caretaker music or something. Yeah.
Caretaker music. Yeah.
Do you know about that album? The Dementia album?
I assume that you mean Caretaker, the Neurotype.
No.
No. We
The,
mean everywhere at the
yeah.
end of time.
Yeah. This album where each...
Yeah, the caretaker is an album. He's an artist.
Gotcha.
It's like phases of dementia, so each phase of the album gets more and more distorted.
Okay.
And you get 6.5 hours of dementia music at the end.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm too scared to listen to it.
Tolga, what does your brain look like?
Okay, so first there isn't any dementia on there, so that's good.
No dementia.
Yeah, no dementia. That's good. Other than that, I said I would like monologue a lot of time, and yeah, I do monologue a lot of time. So I guess you can say words, but other than that, I think concepts or like just a pure idea, they're everything. Images is quite hard for me unless it's like so it's nothing realistic. I can't have realistic images. For example, like a chair. I can't like picture a chair easily in my mind, but like mathematical objects like triangles, squares, or something are like doable. But I can't add so much detail in it. I'm not very good at that. So it has to be very, very simple to be an image, to be displayed.
I'm sort of wondering what or how aphantasia maps to the chart, because we did have Carla on here who is aphantasic but is a new type.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm aphantasic to some extent, but I haven't gotten diagnosed or anything.
Well, like when I picture an apple in my hand, I can look at my hand and picture an apple there, and it's like one of those things where it's like if you were looking through a pane of glass and there was an apple in the reflection, but you can tell that it's only in the reflection, you know?
Right.
And if I want to, I can take that apple and I can rotate it and I can change its color in its current position in space. But I can also just like let go of my vision and the apple stays where it is, but the rest of the world falls away and there's nothing but the reflection.
I can't get anywhere near.
Can
I can
understand
just-
that notion.
I can just summon literal apples into my hand. I just toss it around.
Something that happens to me a lot when I learn a new manual skill is I'll do it over and over in my head, especially if there's like some kind of repeating sequence to it. Like when I learned to crochet, I was crocheting in my brain for like 3 days. Anytime I had a down moment, anytime I was like laying down to try to go to sleep, I was thinking of nothing but crochets. And when I
Thinking
learned a
about
new
those
woodworking
shades.
joint, when like everything is like that. It's like when you play like 5 hours of Tetris and then you see falling blocks when you close your eyes.
Yeah.
Like the image engine of my brain is very easy to excite and to fascinate by some kind of like, oh, we can do this. This is fun.
Yeah.
That's like after I play puzzle games for ages and then like start seeing it everywhere.
I can imagine a super realistic apple in my hand, just the way one would look there. But if I just thought about an apple in my hand, it looks more like a drawing. Like it's kind of fuzzy at the edges. It looks drawn, and I can imagine it in like a different style, but I would have to actively focus to make it realistic. Realistic art.
I can't even get the art.
It's not so much that's undetailed, it's just it doesn't look like a real thing.
Oh yeah, there's another thing. Like when you listen to music or just have a musical sequence in your mind. Right now, yesterday, I think 2 days ago, I was discovering a Piano Face by Steve Reich.
Oh yeah.
And man, that's so that has burned, the memory was burned to my memory. So I'm like hearing it like the whole time, like we were podcasting the whole time now. Man, that's a bit distracting. But
Pianos.
yeah, I love it.
Just wait till you get into that Tim Hecker album I sent you.
Did anybody else take long rides in cars when they were a kid and look out the window and like picture like some fictional character that you made up or that you see and they're running alongside? Yeah.
I pictured Pac-Man from Pac-Man World 2, like rolling and jumping along. Yeah,
I like that. I had all kinds of like, because this was when Dragon Ball Z was first popular, so I was getting stuff like that all the time. Like there'd be a bunch of different characters, some of them that I made up, some of them that I didn't, and they would be like battling on the telephone wires alongside, to, like keeping pace with the car, like constantly. I still get that stuff. Not while I'm driving, but if I'm a passenger and I look out the window, then it still happens.
Oh yeah, I have something like that too.
I have had that, but it's significantly lessened for the fact that I pretty much immediately fall asleep as soon as I enter a moving vehicle.
Immediately.
Except if you drive it, then I'd be in high alert.
I mean, yeah, right. That's why I don't like driving vehicles.
Excellent.
You need a motorbike, then the moment you fall asleep, you have to get back up again.
Oh, is that a tank?
Oh, wait, yeah, I've obviously never fallen asleep on a motorbike. Sounds difficult. Probably possible.
Probably possible, yeah, that's how accidents happen.
They've comfy seats.
Oh, I mean, sure, yeah. If you're tired enough, you can probably fall asleep anywhere. But even when I'm not tired, as soon as I sit down in the car and I'm not driving it, I will fall asleep.
Alrighty.
Buses do that to me because like the wall vibrates in this way that like I don't know. It makes me like hypnotizes me. I don't know. Shakes my brain the right way.
Yeah, there's something about not being the driver of the car that like that desync kind of has that effect.
Back to the post. So what's cool about these types of questions is that I think people are very prone to just assuming that everyone else thinks exactly like them when they're having a conversation. They're just mostly assuming that they're talking about the superficial thing that is the topic, and not so much as in, well, we fundamentally will have different ways of looking at this and even conceiving of what the topic is to begin with.
Yeah.
So how do other people imagine things? How do they see words in their function for communication and so on? Are very interesting things to bring up to people so they will have more of that metacognition about how talking and how humans work. And that's very, very valuable.
When I was in high school, I had the explicit stated belief that everyone in the world was like me or just was me, except some of them are dumber, and some of them are less educated than me. And if I were to just give them the exact same information that I was given the way that I was given it, then they would reach the conclusions that I would reach, and they would believe the same things that I now believe.
Of course you would.
And like this goes so deep too. Like there's because I have kind of a religious background separate from being like, I wasn't raised in the church or anything like that, but I have kind of a religious background separate from my own like chain of beliefs. I was an atheist at the time, but whatever. And I see a lot of that in like really conservative mindsets where their idea of what say Satanists believe is they believe all of the same things. They just chose the other side for some incomprehensible reason, and they never even get to the idea that there might be a different set of core beliefs or a different framing of the world or anything like that. Like, it's a failure to have a theory of mind almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, they'll say the same thing to atheists too. Some of them that you just hate God or you're just angry about it.
Yeah.
Not most Christians, obviously, but some do.
And there you see a lot of that in the atheist communities too, where
definitely.
Deep down you really don't believe in this thing, but you are knowingly choosing a lie because you hate learning or science or gay people or something, and there's a failure to consider how different other people are from you.
Yeah, because that's kind of an uncomfortable idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're very much brought up with this understanding of logical debate and convincing people. And that's very difficult when you reach a point where, there can be people who just axiomatically are different from me.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot be destroyed with facts and logic. It does not work.
Yeah.
Because the same facts and logic will still lead them to a different conclusions, and there's nothing I can do about that. And that's an uncomfortable idea for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine for most people. But it's hard to hold on to the belief that it's not the case. So you have to come to terms with it at some point.
Yeah, very definitely.
Yeah, I definitely have the same thing you said about, not as extreme, but about feeling that everyone was more or less like you. That it's like, we all believe the same thing deep down. It's like,
deep down we're all cats,
it's
right?
fairly recent, really, that I've gone over that. It's,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, this shows up in so many different aspects of my life, too. Like, I am a gender nihilist. I am not a gender abolitionist because my position is that there is no such thing as gender. It is less real than the concept of money. And, like, now that's still my outward-facing position and stuff like that. I do acknowledge that some people seem to experience something that they would describe as being gender, and they are unable to communicate it to me. Because communication is hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Whenever I've asked somebody about why the experience of it is, they can never tell me.
I think it's normally a purely social thing. It's like saying why you're an extrovert. It's like, it only makes sense in relation to social contexts.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you 60?
What I want to do is get rid of those social contexts. But whatever.
Also, I think this plays a big role in what makes it so easy for people to dehumanize the mentally ill in their head.
Yeah.
Because this is a group of people for which it is very obvious that they fundamentally think different from you.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to make that distinction of, these are not real people, because I must assume that all real people think the way I do.
Yeah, if all
real...
real...
comfortable not to. And that leads to very, very horrible outcomes. So,
And sometimes you can just look and say, oh my god, I'm the one who's like I'm the only idiot in the world. That also happens sometimes.
Oh yeah, right.
Divergence looping.
Divergence looping.
I did that. I went at some point from having a massive god complex to, I'm the worst person on the planet.
Nah, you're not the worst. If you were...
Oh, no, I no longer believe that.
Okay, good.
That was the phase that followed that one.
Okay.
There's at least 5 people who are worse.
Let's see. Nate fans.
All 5 of them, yes.
The 5 Nate fans.
The League of Nate fuckers.
Yeah, all those other views are just morbid curiosity every time.
Lolcat, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, this is great. All right, I think I'm kind of out of content because if we've gotten to the point where we're talking about like fundamental differences between human beings and religion, then I think we're out.
Yeah, I think that whole thing could be classified as post-show talk.
Yeah.
Actually.
I want to leave it in just to like build the mythos of us as people, you know?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we do. Like the last segment of the show is always labeled post-show chat.
Oh yeah,
That's what he
Tabak, are
means.
you not listening to the podcast?
I mean, maybe it's just not looking at the timestamps.
I don't look at timestamps ever.
podcast.
I listen to the podcast as an actual podcast where I will put it on my phone when I'm like working, and like at most I will pause it when I am sawing because I can't hear it over the sound of my handsaw.
Yeah, you've already seen the images.
Oh yeah, I like the feature of YouTube now with the segments. Be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That's
the best
that's just aces.
Yeah.
It's always introductions, then segments for the different person, then post-show chat.
Yeah.
That's how the episodes are structured on youtube.com, where you are currently listening to this very show.
Mm-hmm.
Or over, I don't know, Discord pop out. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and here's another reminder that you should join our Discord. Do that.
Yeah. Do we want to like promote other stuff that we make? That's something we don't do.
Yeah. Sure, you can do that.
Alrighty. You can find Oro, other things, having written once upon a time a PCP dating sim.
Once written a dating sim, my Tumblr is usually in the description where there's a collection of short stories and such.
Mm-hmm.
My Twitter's there where there's poems and also short stories occasionally. Very rarely. Haven't posted that in a while. And yeah. I think those are the only things that are linked for me. Tabak has a Let's Play show he already talked about in
The
this
Arch
episode.
Plays.
The Arch Plays.
Yeah.
Yes. It's in the style of Vic and Hope. It's pretty cool. He also has a woodworking and other crafts channel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Other stragglers that I have. Well, I'm currently running the 21st Century Digital Archive. That's the newest project, although it doesn't really have my name on it. You can find that on Twitter and on YouTube. Everything is unlisted right now, but you'll be able to find it along with a torrent link to download all of the old Digi content. Let's see. I also have a channel that I'm bringing back sometime in the next month where we try weird food. We being me and YouTuber Not a Vampire.
Food.
I appear on Not a Vampire's live streams once every 2 weeks and at the movie watch-alongs on my personal Discord that I share with Not a Vampire and a couple of other folks. What else do I have? I know I've got like 2 more things. Whatever. I'm lots of places. You can find I'm Tarbuck Ransom absolutely everywhere.
Actually, from me, 2 things. One, I don't know if you want, but you can, link the Discord of the Digi Archive. Also specifically related to neurotyping, we have already downloaded the neurotyping videos, so from Digi, already on our channel, but the neurotypeline, but still unlisted right now, but will go online, of course. So it isn't depending of any other servers. So this, so to say, it's self-contained in a way. If you change the links to direct to our videos, so to say.
Yeah, that would be helpful to us.
Yeah. Also, more views for the channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Neurotyping is ours now. We made it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I often feel like Digine, what was Digine, is not a person. It's it's a despotic idea that takes people as hosts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Golden Witch was Digi for a long time. Then May tried to be Digi for a while and she couldn't handle it.
It's like the Phoenix Force. If you're not a suitable vessel, it will consume you.
Even yours truly channeled the Digi for a while. Like I wrote words. I wrote a script, a dating sim, for the idea of Digibro that exists in all our heads for the character. And therefore I wrote far less script for the character of Digine than the Golden Witch did. But I did some of it. And in the same way, I wonder what host this concept will choose next. Who will be the new Digi. And maybe we will forever have enshrined the part of Digi that was neurotyping in ourselves. And wouldn't that be interesting?
Terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying. Absolutely horrific.
Hey, one of the things that a witch does is serve as a medium where they are possessed by a spirit and like it speaks through them. This is fucking perfect, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so new equals good equals more advanced. And I'm pretty sure no one's come up with a character typology since neurotyping, and I haven't checked in case that I might be wrong. Neurotyping was made by Beatrice, who is a witch. And what do witches do? Right, herbal medicine. But also, magic. So, check Mayday feasts. Also, fucking look at this stream. Look at this bridge. This is pretty fucking neat if I do say so myself. So yeah, go back to your podcast.
And all of this goes together really well with the idea that I talk about constantly, which is distributed consciousness. You have a fragment of me that lives in your brain and that is me to the extent that it resembles me. And therefore, if it says something that I would have said to you, then that is a part of me that lives in you that is talking to you.
Yeah, completely agreed. Personhood is manifold and diffuse. We have not sole ownership of ourselves.
That's so fucking cool.
It's the hard aspect, dude.
All right. Do we want to do closing sync claps?
Wait, I gotta promote my
Wait,
thing.
Freak it. Did you post things?
What? I want to promote my thing first.
Right, yes. Right. Why does this happen all the time? Oh, I'm a terrible friend. No.
Yeah, so I got, first of all, music. You can find it at uraniumcoffee.bandcamp.com, or whichever order those words go in. I also have a YouTube, where I have the same music stuff. I also have some older videos, which is like gameplay, mostly Team Fortress 2, synced up to music stuff. Those are fun. And then I also have a couple tracks I did for Dotsmite for the Ibiyashi or Iyashi-based mixtapes. Yeah, I have one on Volume 4 and Volume 6. So yeah, look out for that stuff.
Sick.
Rika, do you have anything you want to show?
Join the Neurotypeline server. I'll post my poetry about being horny for tigers. Other than that, I'll probably make a hentai account at some point, but I don't have that yet, so nothing else.
Understandable.
If you message us, we can add it to the description later.
I'm not going to have it anytime soon, really.
No,
Thanks,
I mean
babe.
like months later. I will add it at any point in time.
Okay.
Well,
We'll check out the description then, if it's months later.
Also, we can put any social media you want linked there in case you will make whatever comes later public on there.
Probably not yet. I haven't settled on a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
All right.
yeah. As for me, I have a dead. Okay, it's not dead, but there's almost nothing on there. You can find many public playlists. Also, 2 videos which you can
Mario.
explore. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
And I'm looking forward to seeing if we will have spliced random clips of video into this podcast of us filming outside.
Yeah, outside of that, maybe someday some neurotyping will even come up on my channel, but I'm not too sure about that. So it's like Schrödinger content.
Do you want to close us out on this one? Just read the poem?
If you want.
Yeah, sure, do that.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just plays out there.
Okay.